I was kind of exposing myself in a sense to, not being in a career path, and having to start over again and being worried about not making enough money and supporting my family and things like that.
So I want to talk more about that, but first, how did you quell those fears?
Well, I knew that the path that I was on was more exciting and more interesting and engaging to me than the one that I had been on. I knew that I didn't want to go back to what I had been doing. And I could remember in a very visceral sense how it felt like to do things I didn't want to do. I knew what it felt like to be in a job I didn't want to do, and I had that loneliness and the emptiness that I felt. And I knew that, it wasn't worth going back to that no matter what the cost was. That I just had to go with this even if I didn't know where I was going. It was still better than where I had been.
And did you have conversations with your then fiance, soon-to-be wife, about that? Did you go back and forth? Did you feel that you had to justify it with her?
For the most part, she was very supportive because she could see how frustrating it was for me to be in a job I didn't like, and that I was obviously on something that made me happier. And for her to see me being happier made her life better because I was less of a burden to her, just emotionally. I wasn't as much of a pain in the backside to be with. She reminded me on multiple occasions that I wasn't bringing in any money at a certain point. That she was the breadwinner in the house for a certain time. That I wasn't doing anything to bring us any insurance, and that basically I was relying on her for this to happen. And that was, it was emasculating. There's no real other way to put it.
So how did you deal with that with her? Because a lot of people have this issue. I think this is real.
Well, I remember being very upset with her because I felt that it was a very below the belt thing for her to do. But I also knew that she was expressing frustration herself. That there weren't two people, and that she was doing she was going to work to a job to provide for us, and that I was just taking classes or whatever, what I mean, that I was somehow not doing as important work.
Okay, so fast forward, where are you now? And before I fast forward, though, so I assume you were able to work those issues out and get through those difficult moments. And now, fast forward, where are you now, and how is she feeling about all this, and what's changed for you?
I continued on. I decided that nutrition was and cooking, that combination of those things was really where my interests lie. And so I took 2 more years of education and did all my coursework to become a registered dietitian. I'm currently doing an internship, which is the other thing you have to do. And I'll sit for that exam later this year. And at that point, I'll be a registered dietitian, and also I'll have a culinary certificate behind me. And I'm interested in pursuing, and I'm not sure exactly where I'm going to end up still, but I have a much better idea. I have job opportunities available to me now, and I know where I want to go, or where I think my real interest lies in school nutrition. So
not knowing exactly where I'm going to be or go, you're okay about that. How come?
Well, because I know, I guess generally speaking, I know where I'm going, and anywhere I might end up, the road that I'm on right now is going to a place where I want to be. Like, I'm not on the wrong road anymore. So where that road goes, I don't know, but I still know that it's going somewhere that's more appropriate for me.
And you just trust it.
Okay. I don't even think about it.
Okay, great. Okay, so you're going to graduate in about 2 months?
3 or 4 months, I think.
Okay, 3 or 4 months. And since then, you have had a child. You've gotten married and had a child. And so...
bought a house.
And bought a house.
All kinds of things. There's a lot of things going on, or have transpired in that time,
And do you think, though, you would be at this place, with these new responsibilities, with this new life, if you hadn't gone down this path of exploring what you really wanted to do? You might be there, but how would it be different?
Well, I would be there.
You would be.
I would be. I would be. I'm sure that we would have a house and a child, and like those things would have still happened. But I guess my attitude about them would have been very different. And they don't feel like a burden to me, and they probably would have felt like more of a burden to me had I
Yeah.
you know, been dealing with some stress at work or, you know, in my career. And, you know, I think fulfillment can lead to good things, and
Yeah.
a lack of fulfillment or just kind of this gnawing,
Yeah.
you know, this knowledge that something's not right can also pervade throughout
Yeah.
your life in a very negative way. So
Because what you now bring home to your family and to others is what? How would you describe how you operate in the world, knowing that you are on a path that
Yeah.
is in alignment with you?
I'm much more confident about everything. I'm confident in all aspects of my life, I would say, and I feel very grounded, and I feel like I'm going that I'm kind of I'm not sure exactly how to say it, but that I'm standing somewhere, that I'm very real, you know,
Yeah.
that I don't have to worry about what anybody's thinking about me, because what I'm doing is right. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
because I know that it's right for me.
Yeah, excellent. So if you were to give advice to people and say, this is what you need to do besides just take action to seek help and figure it out, what a point or two
Yeah.
would you say, here's how you maintain it, here's what you do, here's how you need to think about it?
I think I've said it I've described it to people in the past as not gripping it too hard, which is to say that you can really, you know, like a golfer, when they grip the club too hard, they tend to make poor shots.
Yeah.
Baseball players, same thing with a baseball bat. If you're really tense and really trying too hard,
Yeah.
things, you know, can really go awry. And my whole, I guess my approach to things is don't grip it too hard. Don't, and you can't invest every single bit of your life in this process, or it's gonna, it will disappoint you. You know, it's gotta, you've got to just kind of take it as it comes, and you've got to, you know, you've got to at a certain point just agree to let this happen, and that you don't know exactly where it's going to go, but that if you honor what your desires are, and you honor like where you think you need to be, and you do something about it, you'll probably, well, I would think that you'll get to where you want to be.
Boy, I can't say it any better than that. That was perfect. So that's your homework, is basically what he just said. Not grip it so hard. Be open to these possibilities. And then we're going to have one more conversation with Joe, because there's one more thing that I think was really important to his journey, and that was how he dealt with some of those other nagging feelings that he should be taking care of and contributing to the family, especially with a baby coming and in a marriage that was, well, first the marriage and then the baby. So I want to have a conversation with him about that, about how he dealt with that. And this is important to anybody who feels that, male or female, but I think for him in particular it was some old feelings and thoughts of how he thought he should be. So we'll come back and have one more conversation with Joe about that. In the meantime, go to my website, AndreaK.com, and write me. There's a little place that says contact, and let me know how I'm doing if you have any questions or comments. And in the meantime, don't forget, do your homework, and I'll see you in a couple weeks. Thanks for watching.